people.
Greetings.
Pull up to the gates in 1600 on a map. Supposed to be the people's house, I make it like a trap. Marble floors and chandeliers, I'm ballin' to the wall. Power to the people, yeah, I gotta make that call. Trapping for the team, red and white and blue, that's me. Voices on the block, I'm breaking through, I got the keys. I'm in the lobby, yeah, I'm moving like an OG. Posted in the Oval Office and
Good morning.
Signing for the fam, yeah, you know my game is strong. Freedom is the banner and I got my chains on. Secret Service watching snipers sitting on the roof. Truth is hitting hard, I bury you in the booth. Founding father's vision, now I'm flexing with this cash. Big pharma, big tech, turn these dreams to bags. I'm the voice of the hood, trying to come and storm the gates. Ballots in my hands, but the system's overweight. They painted white, yeah, but the stains running deep. Promise they selling it, but you know it ain't coming cheap. Legends walk these rooms, Lincoln, MLK, now it's photo ops. Power plays all day, I'm trapping for the vote. Big Zeus, Big Zeus, powers in the air. Big Zeus, we knocking on the door. Big Zeus, we wanna hear your soul. Big Zeus, who you think they asking for? They asking for that smoke. People are them players, yeah, y'all think this is a joke. Take it back and write the code. 1600 got your soul. Put my portrait on the wall, they staring at me like I'm cold. Greatest story ever told, I will never ever fall. I'm trapping out the West Wing, doing deals all in the dark. Make your dreams come true, all I need is a spark. Red phone ringing, but you don't know.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Got the Constitution speaking, yeah, you know I'm so divine. No stains on my kick and the rally outside. And the gates is locked, this power never divides. Getting for the block, big buses make a move.
Happy Friday.
All day, all night, people house, it's a trap. Got the power, get
Gotta
it
move
back.
things
Money
over
talk
here.
loud, time to clap.
Yes.
Fight for the keys, that's a fact. It's a wrap, I'ma bring it back.
Happy Friday,
people's
ladies
house.
and gentlemen. Oh my God,
It's
we
the
are once
people's
again back in the Thunderdome and getting ready to take care of business. All right, so let's get this show started, ladies and gentlemen. We don't got all morning to do this same song and dance. Let's go. Let's get it all locked and loaded over here. All right, you know what I mean. Good morning, Little Hawk. Good morning, Val. Oh yes, good morning, Tiffany, for the people. Looking so lovely. All righty then. All right. Are we ready to end this week on a high note, ladies and gentlemen? Queen Flea. Good morning.
Deja vu. It's me, Zeus. It's deja vu when I'm running up these racks.
I'm like the turban.
Like I'll be back. It's deja vu when I'm out here flying first class. It's like every week for my game, headed to class. You can tell that I made it. Look at my grass. Cars in the garage with tanks full of gas. I play the game so raw, I won't finish last. Sitting in my living room screaming how we made it. This is how it's supposed to happen when you rich and famous. The algorithm turned to a maniac. I guess we going viral cause my zodiac. I got all these numbers on my spreadsheet. sheet. Benjamin Franklin is my bestie. And if they is my ex, that mean they left me. They don't give me pause and they text me. I say it with my chest cause I mean it. Got a lot of confidence and I'm conceited. Call me the master with a new whip. I'ma take off in a spaceship.
I'll tell you what, I haven't gone into Zeus's live in a couple of days. That shit was radical.
Very radical.
It was horrible. I'm like, Zeus has gone way off the rails.
It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Happy Friday. Right before Easter, almost, right? Once again, we are back in the Thunderdome. I'm your host, I'm your pilot, and you know exactly why we are here, all right? But before we get started, let's take care of some housekeeping items. For those of you who do not know who I am, I go by the name Zeus, or some like to say Triple H. And why do they call me Triple H, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it's quite simple. The first H is because I'm honest. I'm the most honest person on social media. Thank you, D, for this extending your subscription, all right? That's the first H. Second H as well because I'm humble, all right? Listen, if I get it wrong, I will be the first to apologize. But here's the thing. Just because your feelings are hurt 9 times out of 10, actually 10 times out of 10, it doesn't mean I owe you an apology, all right? And then the last and the final H, ladies and gentlemen, you know Nutty hates when I say it, but I am and will always remain the most handsome. Good morning. Nice to see all you lovely people. Many of you know exactly why we are here, all right? Once again, we are here to hold this current administration and his supporters accountable for all the things that they promised that they would deliver to the American people, as well as their crimes and dirty, disgusting, filthy deeds, all right? And so with that being said, I'm going to give each and every single Trump supporter that's here today fully present. If you're a Trump supporter here, I'm going to give you the opportunity of a lifetime. If you do not want me to ruin your breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything in between, one of the things I recommend that you do is leave this live, and you could go hang out with these fake TikTok hosts because they'll lie to you and they'll try to make you think everything's all good despite the writing on the wall, right? They'll tell you things like, you know, Doge is going to send you that golden envelope. Yeah, Trump does lie all the time. They say Donald Trump is going to send you a golden envelope from Doge. After you send him at least $150, you know, you got to donate to his campaign, right? And then it'll be signed by both him and Elon Musk. And that, you know, this suffering that we're doing is pretty much the same thing as suffering in the name of Jesus. All right. They'll do that kind of thing to you. But over here, no. We're going to have those difficult, very difficult conversations to help make sure you understand why the energy is the way that it is in this country. All right. Quiet as it is kept. You know, they look at these polling numbers and they think the Democrats aren't really doing that well. But I wouldn't bet on that, MAGA. I would really start paying attention to what's going on in these town halls and listening to your constituents, because a lot of Americans, they're not happy right now because of the way things are going in this economy, right? And we'll get into that a little bit later. So if you are a Trump supporter and you do not want Big Zeus to ruin your breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything in between, do me a huge favor. Leave this live, like I said, because it's going to get worse. But get this. You don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
All right, let the games begin. The Thunderdome has officially started, and the doors, they just closed. You ever seen the doors close? And it means you can't go anywhere now. I mean, if you do, you're going to have to fight to get out. But you know what? We got to do what we got to do. Well, first things first, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to extend my condolences, honestly, to the victims of what happened yesterday at FSU. We don't have all the information about it, and I don't want to make it a political thing outside of, honestly, making it a clear thing that we should be doing better as a country, right? I mean, when you hear stories like this that involve pew violence, you just have to ask yourself, when did we get to a place where we couldn't get our opinions and things across with using just words? So, you know, I don't want to go too much into that. I do have an opinion about it based on the information that I have. But I'm just going to say, you know, condolences go out to the families and the people in the community out there that have been impacted by this. It's a terrible tragedy. And I wish we honestly could do better as a country. All right. So that's the first order of business. The second order of business, honestly, to be very upfront, has to do with this Kilmar Garcia situation. Yesterday, a Democrat visited El Salvador. You know who he is, right? Van Hollen, you can go look him up. He's from Maryland, a Democrat senator. He went and gave the American people good news that this man is still alive. All right, so thank goodness, because I'll be honest with you, I was one of the people, and you know, this is me being humble, and again, I don't wish bad on anyone, right? But I was one of the people that was legitimately concerned about whether or not this man was still alive, and I am so glad the Democrat Party, especially through Senator Van Hollen, took it as a serious matter and decided to go to El Salvador and get confirmation that this man is still alive. I go into these lives yesterday, and I think the people on the right, they're confusing the issues they think that we're basically standing up for a person that's done a lot of bad things. That's not exactly the case. the issue with this matter, and I just want to get this on the record, you just can't go around denying Americans due process. And I get that you believe this man may have, well, I know he entered the country illegally. And there was, some court stuff that went on. And, ultimately he was allowed to remain in the United States, even though he came in illegally. And he might have done things that, a lot of us would say that's very terrible. But the thing about it, MAGA, is honestly, and let's just be honest, how do you Trump supporters think you look trying to say that this guy is a terrible human being? And you brought up the police report, and I take the women's word at it, right? Because you got to protect the women. But I think that you're also ignoring the reality that this guy right behind me, and I'm not going to get into everything that he's done, but he's not a perfect person either. So that's why they invented this thing called MAGA. This is a new word for you. That's why they invented this thing called due process. All right. And he was able to get due process, honestly. And you know what happened? We just want you to understand that every human being in this country should get due process, because the moment you think it's okay to take it away from one, see, now you're going to start doing that funny stuff and start coming up with creative ways to take it away from everyday American, everyday citizens. All right. And so before I get further, and we're going to get into the booze and shame, you know how I like to do it. I'm going to let Lawrence O'Donnell have the last word on the matter. All right.
News of the night is that Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen has managed to visit the Maryland resident Kilmar Abrego Garcia, being held in prison in El Salvador in what the Trump administration admits was a mistake. Senator Van Hollen broke the news on Blue Sky, posting, quote, "I said my main goal of this trip was to meet with Kilmar. Tonight, I had that chance. I have called his wife, Jennifer, to pass along his message of love. I look forward to providing a full update upon my return." And of course,
let's go ahead and give him a round of applause for doing that. Donald Trump could have simply done this, and this all wouldn't have been at the level that. Well, I don't know why Trump wouldn't do this. It just makes no sense.
The president of El Salvador, in his wise guy mode, mocked the meeting with this tweet saying, "Kilmar Abrego Garcia miraculously risen from the death camps and torture, now sipping margaritas with Senator Van Hollen in the tropical paradise of El Salvador." And then at 9:01 p.m. tonight, President Bukele of El Salvador added this to his tweet, saying, now that he's been confirmed healthy, he gets the honor of staying in El Salvador's
Behold the branch ergonomic chair, a symbiotic companion for the working human.
custody. Well, we will see about that. And of course, the president of El Salvador thinks tonight is a time to be mocking this prisoner that he's holding there and mocking this process.
Wow.
But his words are going to be used in court now in this case, as are Donald Trump's, and they are going to be helpful to Mr. Abrego Garcia, because what the president of El Salvador has demonstrated today is just how easy it is to get this person out of El Salvador, just how easy it is to control his movements in El Salvador and out of El Salvador.
What?
This will all be part of the case.
Ooh.
J. Harvey Wilkinson III has 41 years of experience as a federal judge. He was appointed by Republican President Ronald Reagan
So it's a Republican judge, all right?
1984. And in his 41 years of service, Judge Wilkinson maybe had a right to think he had seen it all. It must be difficult to shock the legal sensibilities of Judge Wilkinson at this point in his career, but he used the word shocking today, a word judges rarely use to describe what the Trump team has done to Kilmar Abrego Garcia after they snatched him out of his car with his autistic 5-year-old child watching from the back seat, and then sent him to a deliberately cruel and unusual prison in El Salvador, where he may remain tonight. A 3-judge federal courts Federal Appeals Court panel unanimously ruled against the Trump administration in the case today. Judge Wilkinson, writing the opinion, said, while we fully respect the executive's robust assertion of its Article 2 powers, we shall not micromanage the efforts of a fine district judge attempting to implement the Supreme Court's recent decision. It is difficult in some cases to get to the very heart of the matter, but in this case, it is not hard at all. The government is asserting a right to stash away residents of this country in foreign prisons without the semblance of due process that is the foundation of our constitutional order. Further, it claims in essence that because it has rid itself of custody, that there is nothing that can be done. This should be shocking, not only to judges, but to the intuitive sense of liberty that Americans far removed from courthouses still hold dear.
That part.
The government asserts that Abrego Garcia is a terrorist and a member of MS-13. Perhaps, but perhaps not. Regardless, he is still entitled to due process. If the government is confident of its position, it should be assured that position will prevail in proceedings to terminate the withholding of removal order. Moreover, the government has conceded that Abrego Garcia was wrongly or mistakenly deported. Why then should it not make what was wrong right?
You hear that? If you admit you made a mistake, why shouldn't you try to make it right? See, you Trump supporters, this is the issue. Not what he's done, and, well, minus the fact that you didn't give him due process, but you've acknowledged that you made a mistake. And we are the United States of America, like President Biden once said. There's nothing we can't do if we want to do it. So with that being said, MAGA, you guys got to wake up and stop pretending like it's bigger than what it really is. This is a very simple thing. Obey the Supreme Court of the United States of America like everyone else so we can move on. So what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is let's warm up this lake of fire once again. To all of the Trump supporters out there that still think this issue is because the Democrats want to protect the guy that has done some things that he has been accused of doing that are clearly wrong, and you're ignoring the fact that this is honestly about making sure everybody in the United States gets due process. That's what this is about. You know what it is.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
Again, MAGA, please don't try to shift the narrative to make it about what you want it to be about. This is very simple. Everyone gets due process and obey the Supreme Court. End of discussion. W's in the chat for Big Zeus. Thank you. And I'm not done just yet. I got a couple more things, and then we're going to open up the box and start trying to have some honest conversations about what's going on. W. Rick in the chat. All right, now we're going to move on to Ukraine news. I woke up this morning. W. Chris, thank you so much. I woke up to some news about Ukraine, and it just kind of made me feel like, you know what? At this point, why? Why do we have to even continue to have these conversations? Because it almost just seems like we are living in the Twilight Zone, all right? How many of you remember this? All right. And this was during the debate with Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris. All right. How many of you remember this?
To win this war.
I want the war.
Do you want Ukraine to win this war?
I want the war to stop. I want to save lives that are being people being killed by the millions. It's the millions. It's so much worse than the numbers that you're getting, which are fake numbers. Look, we're in for 250 billion or more because they don't ask Europe, which is a much bigger beneficiary to getting this thing done than we are. They're in for $150 billion less because Biden and you don't have the courage to ask Europe, like I did with NATO. They paid billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars when I said, either you pay up or we're not going to protect you anymore. So that's maybe one of the reasons they don't like me as much as they like weak people. But you take a look at what's happening. We're in for 250 to 275 billion. They're into 100 to 150. They should be forced to equalize. With that being said, I want to get the war settled. I know Zelensky very well, and I know Putin very well. I have a good relationship, and they respect your president, okay? They respect me. They don't respect Biden. How would you respect him? Why? For what reason? He hasn't even made a phone call in 2 years to Putin, hasn't spoken to anybody. They don't even try and get it. That is a war that's dying to be settled. I will get it settled before I even become president.
Did y'all hear what he said? When did he say he was going to get it settled? Let's make sure we get this on the record. When did he say he's going to get it settled? When is he? I'm asking the audience. When did he say he's going to get this thing settled? I'm just double checking if my ears are actually accurate. Let me double check. Oh, before he becomes president. I know I heard that. All right, I just want to make sure.
Before I even become president, if I win, when I'm president-elect, and what I'll do is I'll speak to one, I'll speak to the other, I'll get them together. That war would have never happened. And in fact, when I saw Putin after I left, unfortunately left because our country has gone to hell. But after I left, when I saw him building up soldiers, he did it after I left. I said, oh, he must be negotiating. It must be a good, strong point of negotiation. Well, it wasn't, because Biden had no idea how to talk to him. He had no idea how to stop it. And now you have millions of people dead, and it's only getting worse, and it could lead to World War III. Oh. Don't kid yourself, David. We're playing with World War III, and we have a president that we don't even know if he's... Where is our president? We don't even know if he's a president.
And just to clarify
they
here...
threw him out of a campaign like a dog. We don't even know. Is he our president? But we have a president,
Mr. President,
that doesn't know he's alive.
Your time is up. Just to clarify in the question, do you believe it's in the U.S. best interest for Ukraine to win this war, yes or no?
I think it's the U.S. best interest to get this war finished and just get it done.
All right.
Negotiate a deal, because we have to stop all of these human lives from being destroyed.
All right. So we all just heard him saying that he was going to get this thing settled the moment that he became president-elect. Now, let's go to Donald Trump's. Remember his State of the Union speech where the MAGA went nuts. Oh, this guy, he's so good at resonating with the American people. He has a mandate. Let's listen to what this mandate was sounding like at the State of the Union, all right?
To end the savage conflict in Ukraine. Millions of Ukrainians and Russians have been needlessly killed or wounded in this horrific and brutal conflict with no end in sight. The United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense with no security, with no anything.
You're clapping, man. You're clapping for this.
Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes. $2,000 people are being killed every single week. More than that. They're Russian young people. They're Ukrainian young people. They're not Americans, but I want it to stop. Meanwhile, Europe has sadly spent more money buying Russian oil and gas than they have spent on defending Ukraine, by far. Think of that. They've spent more buying Russian oil and gas than they have defending. And we've spent perhaps $350 billion, like taking candy from a baby. That's what happened. And they've spent $100 billion. What a difference that is. And we have an ocean separating us, and they don't. But we're getting along very well with them, and lots of good things are happening. Okay. Biden has authorized more money in this fight than Europe has spent, by billions and billions of dollars. It's hard to believe that they wouldn't have stopped it and said at some point, come on, let's equalize. You got to be equal to us. That didn't happen. Earlier today, I received an important letter from President Zelensky of Ukraine. The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, he said. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient for you. I appreciate that he sent this letter, just got it a little while ago. Simultaneously, we've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace.
So again, he's got Ukraine bending the knee, MAGA, ready to do the deal. And he said he's getting signals. And I know you're thinking signal gate, but he's actually talking about communications from Russia that they too are ready for peace. Isn't this interesting?
Be beautiful. Wouldn't that be beautiful?
I'm not making this up. I didn't want to ruin your breakfast, but I'm just only telling you what Donald Trump said to me. This is what he said to me, MAGA.
Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Y'all clap for this. Y'all fell for it, not me.
It's time to stop this madness. It's time to halt the killing. It's time to end the senseless war. If you want to end wars, you have to talk to both sides.
So that's Donald Trump basically during the State of the Union showing us all the art of the deal and how he's gotten these two parties that are at conflict to come together under his deal for peace. Right? Now, let's get to where we are this morning, ladies and gentlemen. I kid you not. Marco Rubio says the United States is ready to move on within a few days if no progress can be made on the Donald Trump peace deal. I'm going, wait a second, Marco. No, Marco saying, is it so? So let's get this on the record and then we'll get to the booze and shame.
It's important to remind everybody that the Ukraine war is a terrible thing, but it's not our war. We didn't start it. The United States has been helping Ukraine over the last 3 years, and we want it to end. But it's not our war. I want everyone to understand that. And the reason why I make that point is the president has spent 87 days at the highest level of his government repeatedly taking efforts to bring this war to an end. We are now reaching a point where we need to decide and determine whether this is even possible or not, which is why we're engaging both sides. As you know, Ambassador Witkoff has had not one, not two, but 3 meetings with Vladimir Putin to determine the Russian perspective on this and understand what it would take for them to end it. We, through General Kellogg, myself, and others, have had repeated engagements with the Ukrainians. So we came here yesterday to sort of begin to talk about more specific outlines of what it might take to end the war, to try to figure out very soon, and I'm talking about a matter of days, not a matter of weeks, whether or not this is a war that can be ended. If it can, we're prepared to do whatever we can to facilitate that and make sure that it happens, that it ends in a durable and just way. If it's not possible, if we're so far apart that this is not going to happen, then I think the president's probably at a point where he's going to say, well, we're done. You know, we'll do what we can on the margins. We'll be ready to help whenever you're ready to have peace. But we're not going to continue with this endeavor for weeks and months on end. So we need to determine very quickly now, and I'm talking about a matter of days, whether or not this is doable over the next few weeks. If it is, we're in. If it's not, then we have other priorities to focus on as well.
Wow. MAGA, I can't put it out there any clearer to you that clearly Trump's peace deal didn't work. And this is why, once again, you're getting all of this resistance and pushback from us Democrats, because we knew from the very beginning that those promises he was making to you all during the campaign were nothing more than fantasies, sweet tales to make you feel good, but they weren't grounded in reality. He's not Michael Jackson. You ever seen that movie Beat It, Michael Jackson? And he thought he was Michael Jackson in the music video Beat It, where he was going to go in the middle and tell this guy to stop fighting and stop fighting, and then they were going to dance together. He thought he was Beat It. But Donald Trump today, he's actually on the other side. He's actually recognizing now that he's been the one told to beat it. All right. And so listen up, Trump supporters. What we're going to do is we're going to warm up this lake of fire. This is the latest example of one of Donald Trump's lies that he promised you that we all knew was never going to be true. And now you see it for yourself. It's not going to happen. And you can put this right in line with all of the other promises, especially the tariffs. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what we got to do. Let's go ahead and send them straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, there's obviously more I could get into. I wanted to also talk about the funding that Harvard cut. This Dr. Sarah Fortune, she has information out there about how tuberculosis funding has been cut. So anyone out there that's dealt with tuberculosis, just understand that funding is being cut all over the country because of the current administration, and it's a real thing. Real people are losing their life as a result of this. All right, but I don't want to do that right now. We got to get to the box so that we can get out on time this morning. All right, so let's start it off the way we normally start this show off. All right, you know the rules. Get in the box, keep it clean, but you're more than welcome to express how you feel on my show. But just be mindful that there are people here listening. All right, and while I'm very nice and personable, all right, because that's just the type of person that I am, other people may listen to what you're saying and they might not agree with what you're saying. So I would encourage you that if you're saying things, please try your hardest to be able to actually provide evidence of why you're saying it. All right. Other than that, I'm going to tell you right now, if you get up in the box and you start lying, it's going to be very, very uncomfortable. All right. So if you are a Trump supporter, please put a 1 in the chat and I'll bring you right on up here. We'll get this show started. All right. Or you can send me a guest request. Hit the pink and the blue man in the box down there and I'll bring you up. Put a 1 in the chat if you're a Trump supporter. Anyone out there think Donald Trump is doing a great job still? I mean, I just laid it out there for you that he's obviously lying. Anyone out there think Donald Trump is doing a great job? Please put a 1 in the chat and I will bring you right on up here. All right. Let's see. I'm looking in the chat. No one. It's Friday, MAGA. It's Friday. Y'all sure? Y'all sure you don't think Donald Trump is doing an outstanding job? Have you I've never seen this many people saying no. Wow. W to the chat. W to the chat. Not one Trump supporter. Come on now. Y'all got to be happy about something this man is doing. I mean, y'all don't want to talk. Wow. Someone wrote hell no. Hell to the no. Wow. I got a question now. Okay. There's somebody. I saw someone write Trump in the chat. Do something, MAGA. All right. I mean, okay. 382 Jim, you think he's doing a good job? Oh, okay. Let me see. I got somebody. Wait a second. Wait, I don't know if you're a Trump supporter. I'm sorry. I may have accidentally sent you an invite. You put a 1, but I looked at your page. I don't think you're a Trump supporter. Please ignore it. I'm so sorry. Let's see. Put a 1 in the chat if you are a Trump supporter. 382, you don't want to get up here and do anything, 382. You know you and I have spoken before, and you just want to get up here and say you love Zeus and all that other weird stuff. If you have a legitimate way of, someone wrote hell no. Wow. All right, one more. Let's go. Let's give it a little bit more. Someone wrote it's embarrassing. Someone asked, where's the no tax on tips? Yeah, these are the things people want, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Ken, knock it off, Kenneth. No. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you know what this means. We're going to go straight to the box and try to get some voices that I don't normally get to hear from. Maybe they're MAGA, maybe they're not. Good morning, Chad. How are you? All right. I'm assuming you accidentally requested up, Chad. Let's bring up the next guest, ladies and gentlemen. Who is this? Uncle Danny, hell no. Trump is starting wars. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I'm bringing up the next guest. I don't know. I think this could be I think this could be, someone who accidentally sent a guest request. Rosa, come on up here, Rosa. Put a 1 in the chat if you are a Trump supporter and you want to come up here and express how much you believe Donald Trump is doing a great job. Rosa, maybe that was an accident. Let's see. I mean, as you all can see, I am trying to be as fair as I can. TJ, good morning, TJ. How are you doing?
Hey, brother, what's up? I haven't talked to you in a long time.
I know, but it's hard to hear you. Shelly, are you a Trump supporter? Shelly, if so, send me a guest request, Shelly. I'll bring you up.
Can you hear me now?
It sounds like you're far away.
How about now? No.
I can't hear you, brother.
All right. Well, I just wanted to say, there's a lot of things going on out there, and these people just don't really seem to understand that Monday is going to be the turning of the tide. We don't understand what's coming our way, and Monday is where we're going to really see everything for what it is. And when everybody was wanting the proof of life for Kilmer,
got it. But here's the problem: they didn't want to do this. They didn't want to do this this meeting with him inside the prison. There's a reason for that. Secondly, he went and had this meeting in a hotel because they didn't want to have that meeting inside the prison. But he had clothes that were brand new. All those clothes were brand new. Everyone that got off those planes were wearing boxer shorts and had their heads shaved.
Wow.
Remind you this.
Yeah,
so
I remember.
There's another thing. What makes you think that the prisoner, Kilmar Garcia, was not told to say a word about what's going on inside the prison or else? So you really think that meeting was on the up and up? Halfway there, man. We're not all involved in what's going on. So for me, good. We got proof of life. But the links that he had to go through to get that, and what was sacrificed to get that meeting.
Yeah.
He sacrificed going into the prison. They wouldn't let him in, but they let Republicans into the prison. They had him go outside in clothes that were brand new for him because he didn't get off that plane wearing any of that.
Yeah.
So it's a dangerous situation. Granted, we got the proof of life. Cool. Because I myself, just like you, thought that he was no longer with us.
I ain't gonna lie. I really did.
Yeah. So I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah.
But the problem is Monday. Everything is going to change on Monday because the courts gave Trump until the 21st to get what was the case of exactly, but like whatever it is, everything's gonna have everything comes to a head on Monday.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's just, keep our prayers up that this thing ends without anyone losing their life, all right, or being harmed any further than they have already been harmed. What do you think about this narrative that the right keeps pushing, that we are somehow supporting a person that might be a terrible human being and that we look crazy doing this?
Well, what I say is they don't understand the Constitution. The Constitution clearly says all persons born, and it also says regarding the due process, all persons within the jurisdiction of the United States. So guilty, not guilty, it doesn't matter what his legal status is. It doesn't matter what his political status is. He is afforded the due process of the Fifth Amendment. The fact that they took him without giving him his day in court, without giving him his right to be seen or spoken or heard from, that can happen to any one of you. This is why the Supreme Court went 9-0, because they know that if it happened to them, it can happen to you. Now, this also goes into the wording that came from Gorlick or Gore, whatever his name is, that he said that if you aid and abet a terrorist, that you trying to advocate for the due process for any of these people, that's aiding and abetting a terrorist.
Yeah,
that is dangerous language, because if I get picked up and I am a United States citizen, born and raised, I serve this country, but if I get picked up without due process, it can happen to anyone.
and that is the missing component, MAGA. So if you're going to go around here and start trying to say Democrats are supporting someone who's been accused of doing terrible things, you're totally missing the entire situation here. This is about understanding everyone in this country is entitled to due process.
Right. So if you're still arguing, oh well, he wasn't here legally. He was here. He was vetted. He came here. He was not part of a gang. That's already been like debunked a million times over. But they keep talking about it. So the fact is, you are trying to project a narrative that's already been beaten. Does that not sound like the common thread with MAGA? We can tell you all day long, but you're still not understanding. This is what FAFO is, and right now you're still starting to see it. But Monday is when we're going to see everything come to a head.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time there, Zeus, but everybody, please get to Five Below. Go buy yourself a Constitution. It's in the book section, $5, and bone up before they start taking it away entirely.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give TJ a huge round of applause. Thank you, brother. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. Thank you. I mean, that's not difficult to do, right? You get in the box and you tell the truth and you shame the devil. I mean, that's it. If you get in here and you start hemming and hawing and you start bringing up this man's background, and I'm just going to say this to every Trump supporter. If you want to actually have an honest discussion about this, I'm more than willing to have it. But if you start bringing up this man's background, I'm going to stop you because it's really not a good thing to do, because I'm going to instantly start thinking about this guy and his crimes, and I'm going to start talking about January 6th. And I just think that's not a productive conversation, all right? What we're talking about is if you are putting anybody in prison, in jail, they better have been convicted of something. But to just randomly grab someone and deport them, and we don't know what you've convicted. Oh, well, I think this. Well, this looks suspicious, and so I did that. No. There's a high threshold, and in this country, if we wanted this country to be ran like that, we would have done away with the Constitution a long time ago. All right, so let's not pretend like it isn't what it is. All right, put a 1 in the chat if you are a Trump supporter, and I will bring you up. And to the people who are in the comment section and they're getting triggered by the way that this show is being ran, all right, especially with the high level of truth coming out, do us all a huge favor.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
And again, we have evidence that in the state of Florida, you heard about it. I posted a video. They've actually taken an American citizen. You know who his name is, Garcia Lopez. And he was just driving, 20 years old. And the officer wrote down in their report, he said that he was an illegal he was in the country illegally, so they sent him to ICE, and he's out now. But just the fact that they're willing to take American people, American citizens, and put them through that should alarm every single person in this country. It should alarm you that they're doing this. In this case, they got it right and they fixed it, possibly because all the media attention on it as well. But what about all the people out there that don't get the media attention and they do this to them? This is why you are seeing the Democrats express the outrage that they're having. It has nothing to do with what the person did. It's the outrage that the person who is supposed to uphold the Constitution isn't doing it. All right. Put a 1 in the chat if you are a Trump supporter, and I'll bring you right on up here if you don't mind. All right. Yes, Jim, you can always ask me a question. That's no problem at all. It's not DJ. All right. Put a 1 in the chat. Shelly, are you still here, Shelly? Shelly, are you still here? You said that you wanted to come up here and ask a question. All right, I'll bring you up, Jim. What do you got for us this morning? How are you?
Good morning. I have a question for you and your audience. If the Trump administration does not have to follow the law of the land, if the Trump administration can ignore court orders, Why would the rest of us have to follow any of the laws of this country?
Good question.
So I mean, really, I woke up thinking about this today, that he is literally giving the middle finger to the Supreme Court of the Constitution. He is literally giving the middle finger to district court judges. He is ignoring court orders. They know that there was a legal document that allowed him to stay in the country, and he was supposed to be safeguarded from deportation. They know that he sought asylum, and he was granted asylum because he was able to remain in the country. I would like to remind your audience that he was brought into the country in 2019 under what president?
Tell them.
That's right. He was brought into this country, and he was given that legal order under Donald Trump's first term. So why all of a sudden he was granted asylum? I know, DJ, it's really hard for you guys to understand the definition of the word asylum. It means to seek safety. He was granted safety and legal status, a protection order in the United States of America. That is seeking asylum. He was granted asylum to remain in the United States. It's the literal definition of the word to seek safety. Seeking asylum means to seek safety. Hard, DJ. I know it's really hard. Maybe that's why you go by your initials, DJ. You can't spell your whole name.
He's not wrong, DJ. I mean, I don't
so
understand
what's to say?
why this is so hard for you.
What's to say, Zeus? Like, what do you think? Like, if the president of the United States and his entire administration are committing crimes against the country, which we're all witnessing, and ignoring one of the three branches of government, because we know that the feckless Congress is not doing anything, a co-equal branch of government, then why is it that the rest of us as American citizens have to follow the laws under this administration?
Thank you. See, this is what we're trying to get out there, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we're trying to get out there. And I think we know who can answer that question himself. It'll have to be DJ. DJ, you tend to speak very good for your party, even though you're clearly wrong. But Jim is asking a nice question. Why should we all be subjected to this, but not Donald Trump?
Jim was saying that he was granted asylum. He was not granted asylum. That's not true. He was granted a withholding of removal, which is not asylum. And he did not come into this country in 2019 under Donald Trump. She's wrong about that as well.
He was. The point is, he was here legally.
He was granted a withholding of removal, which means that he was not supposed to be deported to.
Why, DJ? Why was he granted a withholding? Why?
Because his lawyer convinced a judge that he was in danger.
No. Why was he granted that?
Do you want me to say it slower? Am I saying
no?
It
You're too slow. That's the problem, DJ. Your condescension isn't going to work with me. You know that. I dog walk you all the time.
Oh yeah.
He literally was granted a legal protective status because they were able to show evidence that his family had been harmed by this group. By the way, that was not MS-13. The group that was threatening was literally called Barrio 18. It was a street gang in El Salvador. So the bottom line is this: it's not a rival gang, because believe me when I tell you this, that if he was a member of MS-13 and a rival gang had threatened him, the rival gang would not still be standing in El Salvador, because that's what happens when you threaten rivals.
What makes you an expert at that? Please explain it.
24 years in law enforcement.
Congratulations, but explain to us.
So bite me, bitch.
Oh. Excuse me?
Keep it clean. I got that. DJ,
I'm just asking you questions, Jim. If you can't handle it.
No, dude, you act like you've never talked to me before. We've danced multiple times and I've punched your card. I want you to be very clear when you're lying, not only to yourself, but to the people in Zeus's place, that you need to recognize you don't have any comprehension of the Constitution or the laws. So let's be very clear. When he came into this country to seek asylum, when he was picked up, he was presented in court. He gave the reasons why he was in this country. He gave them the story of his brother Caesar. He gave them the story about his mother. He gave them the story about his father. He gave them the story about his sister. All that evidence led to a legal protective status. They protected him. He was allowed to stay in the United States under our immigration laws. In addition to that, they wrote that he was not to be deported back to El Salvador because of that legal protected status. That is asylum. When you are allowed to stay in the country that you are on their soil and they give you a legal protective order. You are wrong on all counts, DJ.
No, ma'am. I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Yeah, and earlier, I don't know if you caught this, but the question by the judge to the Trump administration is, if you acknowledge you made an administrative error, why not try to make that right?
I'm not arguing that point. They absolutely admitted that they made an error. The only error that they made was that he was deported to El Salvador, which was the only place that he couldn't go.
Okay, no, the error is also that he's in a gang. And that you know, because that's what the officer wrote, who also has a checkered past, right? They got it wrong, and then you add to it that they quickly, knowing that this was being dealt with in the court, they still continue to carry out the flights despite the judge's orders. My question to you, DJ, is if a person takes accountability and they acknowledge they made a mistake, that means they're basically liable. Why not try to remedy it and get this thing settled?
They will absolutely facilitate him coming back. Absolutely.
You think they will?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
DJ learned a new word, facilitate. Now he's understanding it. A couple days ago, they said that word didn't mean to take action. Remember when they were telling us a couple days ago that facilitate did not mean to take action? When facilitate is an action word, so is the word effectuate. Meaning it means to come to effect.
Memory. You have a convenient memory, Jim.
No,
what I
DJ,
said was,
DJ, you scare me more than the bold, confident Neanderthals that come into these lives, because you try to act like you're this sweet, calm man. What you are is the quintessential danger to society. A white male who tries to use proper English and calmness and tries to tell people, look, I'm not here to fight. I'm not here to argue. I just want to have dialogue. I'm going to literally slowly poison you with kindness and tell you that it's sweet tea. That's what you do. But it's still toxic, DJ. You're literally the epitome of a serial K. You're like one of those people that walk around this country hiding in the communities, literally poisoning and toxining all the waters in our country. You're the worst kind of American citizen.
Well, okay. So now that that's out there, DJ, and again, I get called a lot of things as well. It's par for the course when you are, you know. So, but I don't want to get too deep into that. I think what I understand you're saying in terms of this Kilmar Garcia situation is you understand now that this has nothing to do with us trying to protect a man who may be a bad actor, and it has everything to do with due process and somehow the Trump administration feeling like they don't have to obey court order. You get that now, right?
The Supreme Court ruled absolutely that the Trump administration needs to facilitate his return. Who's disputing that? I'm not disputing that at all. Okay.
Oh my God. See what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. DJ, for days, you have gone on panels and literally said that they were not wrong. You've gone on panels for days and said that he was all these terrible things, you and all your little cronies. And now that you've been proven wrong, now that you've been told that they did break the law, now that the Supreme Court, it wasn't even a split decision. It was a unanimous decision that they broke the law, that he's ignoring district court judges. And he was ordered to return them. And he's still sitting in a prison, DJ.
Pardon me?
And he's still sitting in a Salvadorian prison. It took 2 days for a U.S. senator to get proof of life.
We can't control what the president of El Salvador does.
No, dude. You know what? That's the cop-out right there. That's the cop-out. You guys like to go around and talk about how almighty this literally defunct man is. This narcissist who literally harms the entire country, who's selling
Now
us
it's going
out
to
piece
Trump.
by
Okay,
piece
this
to
is pretty
China,
typical.
and
This is
you
where you go. Go
literally,
ahead.
do not comprehend that you are in a cult, that you literally will eat, sleep, and drink and put this man's name on anything
I
because you
disagree
have
with
no
Donald Trump all the time,
ability
Jim.
to comprehend that you've sold your soul to
You
the
keep
devil.
speaking, but you don't listen at all.
Because you
And
never
that's why
shut
we
up.
do what we do.
Oh,
Because
I
you
never
never
shut up.
shut up. You always talk over the women in lives. And so I'm not the one. You're going to learn today.
Mm, thank you.
Projection,
So DJ, have you
deflection, you
learned
got it all, Jim.
DJ
You got them all.
DJ? Have
Yes,
you
sir.
learned your lesson today? Because Jim is not the one. And again, I consider it progress, honestly, that you are acknowledging that the Trump administrative made a mistake, and that you believe that they're
said it
actually
before,
going to, huh?
I've said it before.
It wasn't a
What?
mistake. It was an intentional attack on a migrant. That's exactly what
Now
it
that's a
was.
different
There
way of
was
putting it.
no mistake. It was
Mm.
intentional to cause
Oh,
harm to any persons that came from another country that they deem less than.
You got that, DJ?
what
That's
I
how
got
it is.
was that he is an MS-13 member that needs to be out of this country, and he's out of this country. Was he outed in the
You
It
correct
is.
way?
There it
think
is.
he's a gang
DJ,
member?
what evidence do you have that he was part of MS-13?
Well, let's see. There's two different.
None.
Are you going to
None.
let me
They
answer your
showed
question,
you no
Jim?
evidence. They've
Are
showed
you
you
going to
no
ask me the
evidence.
question
And I'm
then
pretty
answer
sure
it
right
yourself?
now, that is the scrambling that the Trump administration is having to deal with because there is zero evidence per the Supreme Court. There's no evidence. It says perhaps, perhaps not.
The Supreme Court didn't
Listen
rule
to me.
whether he was
I know it's hard
MS-13.
for you to let women finish, but listen to me. When the Supreme Court of the United States literally says perhaps, perhaps not, it means there's no evidence. The NCIC report on this man shows zero evidence. Because if there was evidence, this foul human being in this picture would literally be showing it to every news media. It'd be on Twitter right now. Just like there's no abuse, no fraud, and no waste that they have been able to prove, they are literally stealing from the American people. You know it and I know it, but you can't be man enough to say
I
you
live in
all
a cult.
voted for a convicted felon, an adjudicated sexual assaulter, and a grifter. You know it, I know it, Zeus knows it, and the 2.7
Now that's
thousand
better.
people in this live know it.
It's very interesting, Zeus, that it doesn't matter.
W Jim in the chat. Now my sound is a lot better. And I'm back in action. I can hear you both real clear. Oh my God. Yeah, W Jim. So DJ, have you learned your lesson yet? Because Jim is doing an annihilation. This is something I've never seen before, but it's actually carrying on from what we did yesterday to the last MAGA demon that got in the box. We're not going to let you get up here, DJ, and try to pretend like doing wrong is good. You get that?
Zeus, you run the show, Bubba. Whatever you say
Thank you.
is what it is, okay?
All right.
But Jim didn't
Ooh, did he
annihilate
just call
anybody.
you Bubba?
She would ask me a question.
Did he just
then didn't let me
disrespect
finish.
you and call you
She
Bubba
continues
in
on her
your
rant,
own
just like
live?
she's doing right
This
now.
is exactly
She says that I
what I
can't let her
mean.
speak.
These white men are so fragile that they can't even respect the host of the show. And he has to
Bubba?
call you Bubba as if he's somehow your friend. You are even grosser than I thought.
DJ.
Do not disrespect
Jim,
this
I
man.
don't feel that it's necessary
Do not
to degrade
disrespect
anybody
this
that
man
I
and talk
feel like
out of
What
his
does
name.
Bubba mean, DJ?
Do not.
DJ, what does Bubba mean? I mean, I
It's a euphemism for, hey, friend, man, whatever you want to call it. If we got to get into that definition, then you guys are just looking for things. Jim asked me a question that I would like to be able to answer. Can I answer the question?
All right.
please?
Yeah. Okay. Because, yeah. And you don't need to call me Bubba. All right. If you love me, Zeus is fine. All right. And then you would keep my commandments too. All right. But that's another day. What is the question you would like to ask, Jim, real quick? Before we move it on, because, obviously I got to bring up other people, but this has been an interesting annihilation. What do you got?
An annihilation. You know what, man? If you think this was an annihilation,
Just
then that's
ask
cool.
it. Just ask it,
That's all
DJ.
good.
Come on. Just ask it.
No. So the question that she asked was, why did he get that status?
No, I didn't ask you that question. The question I actually asked was why, if the President of the United States and his administration do not have to follow the laws of the land, why do we? Answer that.
Now that was the question.
That was your original rant, Jim. And you
No, that wasn't a rant. That's a question.
That was the question,
That's a question
and that's why
you
I
can't
brought you
answer.
up. That was the question because she initially asked it to the audience, but I then randomly grabbed you because I knew you were here and you do a pretty outstanding job trying to defend Donald Trump in all things. And I was just curious if you could give us the answer to that question.
I came up, Zeus, because she said that he was granted asylum. He was not granted asylum.
Was granted asylum. When you're allowed to stay in the country that you came to seek asylum means to seek safety. That's the literal meaning of the word. To seek safety. He was granted a legal protected status. You are wrong again. Answer the first question that I put to everyone.
Could you answer that question and then we can move on because other people want to come up, DJ, and you've tried. But could you answer Jim's question?
I mean, so what you're saying is you totally do not agree that he was granted a withholding of removal
again,
status.
DJ, I know you're like the pivot perv. Let's go ahead and try this again.
Goodness,
let's try this again.
What is the question, Jim? There you go.
Why is it that the President of the United States and his administration, who are ignoring the Constitution and the laws of the land and defying a Supreme Court order to facilitate and effectuate the return of this man to safety so that he can receive due process under the Constitution, that would be the Fifth Amendment, DJ. Tell me why the rest of us in the United States have to follow the law of the land. Go.
I think pretty clearly, Jim, that the Trump administration has said that they would facilitate his return.
Not. They literally
didn't answer the question, DJ.
You're saying that Pam Bondi did not say that they would facilitate
Pam Bondi said they would not. Pam Bondi said that they were going to defer to El Salvador. That's how corrupt this administration is.
Pam Bondi said what?
But you're not going to answer her question, though, DJ. Do we all have to obey the law?
Absolutely. And the Trump administration has done what they felt like is obeying the law.
Okay.
And
all right.
So now it's being
That's not that. People in this country don't have to do what they feel like when it comes to obeying the law. You got to do it. So, right?
The Trump administration felt like they did obey the law, Zeus.
I want everybody in your life to hear this man say that they felt like they obeyed the law. See, this is the difference between Democrats and Republicans. There is either doing or there's trying not to do. And that's exactly what the Trump administration did. They tried not to follow the law and they cover under a bunch of talking heads that were given and force-fed what to say. So when they couldn't prove that he was a T group, when they couldn't prove that he was part of MS-13, they then switched to a DV incident that happened years ago that his wife has literally publicly come out to say that she was told to do an abundance of caution. And they'll use that against this man, who, by the way, was not prosecuted at all for those charges. It was an ex parte motion. So let's be very clear. They support a convicted felon. They support an adjudicated SAer who's had 28 allegations against him. But you can't say that about Trump. But they will literally come onto these panels and go on your nightly news and disrespect somebody that they know they illegally sent out of the country and put in harm's way, along with 200 other men who 90% of them also had not received due process and also did not have records. Let's also talk about the 15,000 service members that were literally fired from the United States military, the 1 million federal workers that were fired unconstitutionally, by the way, and are all suing to get their jobs back, and then the 83,000 veterans and all the federal government jobs that they are literally stealing allocated congressional funds that were allocated to protect the United States and to keep this country running. This man in this photo has literally done all those crimes, and DJ still supports that, but will have the audacity to talk against a man we know that DJ, per his own admission, the administration said made a mistake. Do we have that right, DJ?
Well, they made a mistake they made the mistake that he sent him to El Salvador. Yes, ma'am. That was the mistake that they made.
Yes, ma'am. It's a lot of yes, ma'ams over there, DJ.
He could have gone anywhere. Zeus, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whatever conversations you're having it always turns to convicted felon, SA, this. That's all
Because
you
he's
got.
a convicted felon that you support. So you can't talk about illegal anything, DJ. He's a convicted felon.
Jim,
He committed
am I
crimes
allowed
against
ever
this
to talk
country.
more than 10
He
seconds?
committed
Is that all I
crimes
get,
and is
Jim,
on
before you get to cut me off?
recordings. He's recorded,
come on.
literally interfering
Come
in
on,
elections.
Zeus.
You support a
Hold on.
criminal. So you don't get to talk about anyone else's crimes.
And that's and DJ, I don't know if you heard me, but when I said this situation, I gave you the heads up, and not just you, any of you. I said, please do not bring this man's background up, because the moment you do that,
When did I do that, Zeus?
You
When
brought
did I
up
do that?
you brought up the thing, and that's why we're now talking about Trump and his background, right?
Look at, he doesn't
No, sir,
even
I didn't-
remember
I
the
didn't bring up
lies
any
he tells.
allegations against him from his wife. The only thing I brought up was he was not granted asylum.
That is not what you
He
brought
did
up.
not
You
come into
literally
the country
called
in
him an
2019.
MS-13 gang member. You don't. You
Jim,
can't
please do
even
yourself
track
a
your
favor
own
and
lies
just
anymore,
Google
DJ.
whether this guy was granted
You
asylum.
can't even track your own lies anymore.
Okay,
That's
but-
the problem with liars.
But
You
DJ,
get caught up in them because you can't remember that you just lied 5 seconds ago calling him a gang member. You're
DJ
literally the talking
He
head.
is a gang member. He
No,
is
he's
a
not.
gang member.
DJ again. All right. Well, listen, DJ. I think you're gonna. I just said earlier, you can't bring up his background or anything because there's no due process. And the moment you start trying to say someone has a checkered past, you open that door up about your dear leader.
Okay, so I want to make sure I understand, Zeus. She can absolutely say that this man is a family man and everything else that goes with it. Like he's
I
never
didn't
done
say any of
anything
that.
in his life. But you bring up the fact that he
I didn't say any of
he
that.
has done a few things in his life, then that's unacceptable. Is that what you're saying?
No. Because the thing is, he's a person in the United States and he's entitled to due process, right?
And did I disagree with that?
All right, but when you start talking about him
Yes,
being
he
in a
did.
gang,
He said he could have been deported anywhere else. See, you can't
could have.
even track your own lies, DJ. You said
Nope.
that. You
Jim,
said
are
that
you-
the
are you-
only
Jim?
mistake they made was deporting him to El Salvador, which means you would have been okay with him being deported anywhere else
Could he have
without
been
due
deported
process.
anywhere else, Jim?
You said that, DJ. That's the problem I have
I
with
did say
you.
that. You're absolutely
is
right.
you
and I
did
was
say
correct. Are
that. It's
you saying-
recorded.
Jesus Christ, you are.
right? Don't so DJ. I mean,
didn't say anything.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure because we can't get into that space on this show.
No.
So we're at a moment now where I think you're just kind of, we got to move on. I'm going to let the audience decide, Lake of Fire or not for DJ, because we got
He
to.
needs to be under the fire.
Let's go to the audience, all right? Because I think you both.
Relax.
I think.
I don't hold anything against you because you have different
DJ,
political.
I don't
views
want to
than I
hear
do.
your voice ever again. I usually drop when you're in my spaces now because to me, you are literally the epitome of evil.
Well,
You
I'm so
are literally
sorry
the
that I live in
person
your head
all
that way,
women
Jim.
all women should cover their drinks and walk in the opposite direction from men like you. You are the
so now I'm
epitome
an
of dangerous.
SAer. Wow.
You are
How
the
about that?
epitome of dangerous.
You have
are a
anything other than
capital
just
W.
insults? Is that
You
all
are
you
a
got, Jim?
capital W.
You
A
have
danger.
insults. That's all
You
got,
try
Jim.
to charm people.
Well,
You know, I know many people in this country remember
Since
Ted
this lady
Bundy.
is
He was
unhinged,
very
man.
charming too.
Just drop me and get it over with because she's.
No,
I hate
drop
to do
you.
this to her.
Drop it like
It's
it's
obvious
hot.
that I
boo-boo.
accept
Run.
Well,
Run,
I'll say this, DJ.
Run.
You did a good job trying to climb Mount Olympus, all right? But
All right,
I think
brother.
this could have ended
Oops,
if you would have
sorry. All right, Zeus.
I think this could have ended a lot quicker and smoother if you would have just simply conceded and tried not to
I'm
defend
not gonna
Donald
concede
Trump.
when I know that I'm right and she was wrong.
You still think you're wrong? You still think you're right?
I know that he was not granted asylum.
And you-
I
and-
know that he was under an order where he could have been deported anywhere else.
And you think
other
he's
than
in a
El
gang still?
Salvador. Pardon me?
You believe he's still in a gang, right?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, that's enough, DJ. That's enough. That's enough for the Lake of Fire. All right. Thank you, DJ. All right. Hold on. There you go. Lord have mercy. All right. All right. Well, listen, Jim, we did it again. That was another cooking booking session. All right. How do you feel?
Thank you. Hey, I just want to address your audience one time. So for all of you men out there attacking me, you don't know me. So I'm going to introduce myself. I've danced with DJ multiple times. I've been on this app for 5 years fighting for democracy. I used to talk very kind, very sweet, very demure. There's no longer a time for that. I will no longer allow men to talk over me, disrespect me, or come up here and pretend to be charming and kind so that they can talk over women. If you don't like it, you can leave the live. DJ is a harm to this country and a harm to this app, and he is the epitome of trouble. So for all of you, especially men, or you sissy la la women who like to judge other women, you can miss me with your BS because you haven't been in the trenches. I have. And everybody who knows me in this live, including Zeus and Kabira and all the other women that come up and defend us, we are going to stand strong. You are not going to silence us, and we are going to continue fighting for democracy so that our children have better tomorrows and not less than. So you can hold your judgment for the men like DJ, who you're about to find out just how low they can go when trying to run the United States of America into the ground and take away the rights of American citizens.
Wow.
Peace out.
All
Love you
right. All right. Peace out. Love you too. Oh my gosh.
Oh, and DJ violated me because he's a coward.
Oh my gosh. I got to get her out of here. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Sorry, Jim. W's in the chat for Jim. Woo! Isn't it? I mean, it's Friday, ladies and gentlemen, and sometimes you gotta have moments of like that. And I'll say this, that was a real good, clean battle. That was a good, clean battle. I mean, but DJ, honestly, right is right, wrong is wrong, and we're at a point now with this stuff where we just get tired of honestly having to relitigate and explain things that you and everyone knows make common sense, right? Rick. Lord have mercy. Let's go and bring up the next panelist. Oh my goodness. If you are a Trump supporter, please put a 1 in the chat and I will bring you right on up here. Oh my gosh. That was interesting right there. That was interesting. All right. Let's go. Oh, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Look what the cat drug in. All right. Okay, Thor, you wanted to come back? You came back, Thor.
That last lady was deranged. She's your typical.
You don't got to do that.
Just doesn't hate
Thor. You don't know Jim, and you don't got to come in.
You don't got to take much to know Jen.
But why are you? Listen,
she did right there.
Listen.
If she is such a kind lady,
Thor,
change her demeanor.
Thor, who are you to regulate and tell people how to change and behave?
Who is she to regulate other people to say that thing?
She's an American. She's an American, and she's a woman.
Too.
Okay, and she's a woman.
Who is she to regulate other men because she got scorned and hurt?
So you're hurt. So Thor, you're hurt this morning. Am I right?
I'm not hurt.
Okay, because if it wasn't true, it wouldn't bother you. That's how I look at this. If it wasn't true,
this is your typical Democrat woman. She hates men. She hates anyone that doesn't.
Thor, you're crashing out, all right? You're supposed to be up here, honestly, defending your dear leader, but Jim must have done a number on you, and DJ isn't even acting like this, Thor. What's really bothering you? And it can't be Jim. It really can't be Jim.
I'll tell you what's bothering me. It's the Democratic left that when you disagree with them, they always call you hateful. They always call you dangerous. They always call you something that's very spiteful. And they always bring back like this little defense, like I used to be nice, I used to be demure, I used to be cute, and I used to be Thor. I've laid off the gloves, and now I'm gonna just tell you how it is.
Okay, Thor, and I appreciate you trying to be honest with us, but let's go back a little bit. Who started all of this? Who started all of this? Thor, because there was a period in time when you had campaigns and people didn't even talk politics, right? Because it would be something you did it in the privacy, and then you come back out and it's like whoever you voted for. But who do you think, Thor, changed that dynamics?
I'd have to say when I was overseas, it was the Obama.
Obama did?
No, it wasn't Obama, but it was America divided by
what person made it acceptable to call people in Mexico rapists and unalivers? And what person talked about beating up people and putting them in a paddy wagon? What person calls Democrats communists, Marxists, fascists, and thugs? What person helped, as far as I'm concerned, organize an attack on the Capitol on January 6th?
Well, I mean, I would say the Democrats and the Republicans did the same. Because,
Oh,
Democrats did
so
the
two
BLM,
birds
right?
are the same wing kind of thing.
They are.
Okay, so you got up here and attacked.
You got
You
some
were
crazy
attacking
people on both
Jim.
sides.
You were attacking Jim, but
Yeah.
now you're here saying it's both sides.
Yeah, you
So
got crazy
Thor,
people
so
on both
Thor,
sides.
so you can't have your cake and eat it, right?
Oh, I
so
can. I can
so
tell. I can tell a spade, whatever that word, American saying is. I can tell what it is and what it is not.
oh, well, I don't.
You got some really
I don't.
radical people on the left, and you got some really radical people on the right. Now,
Okay.
does that
So
make everyone radical?
and what
No.
side are you on?
I'm just here witnessing the whole mess.
What side are you on, Thor?
What do you mean? What side?
You said there's some radical people on the left, and there's
I'm
some.
not on the radical side.
Which side are you on? Are you on the left or on the right?
I'm just an American who voted. I'm
So-
not radical
so-
at all. I don't
okay.
go out in the streets and say and etch
Thor,
signs
I
with
get
people's
it.
Teslas. I don't go out in BM street and say, "Damn you, white people." I don't do that.
All right, Thor. But you got up here and you went after Jim, who hasn't even done anything to you. So as far as I'm concerned, that makes you kind of radical. And then on top
No,
of
it
that,
doesn't.
let me ask this question:
Go ahead.
you voted for Donald Trump, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes you someone that supports a person that does radical things, right?
Oh, it does.
Yeah, because you saw what he did.
when Biden got elected
No,
and
okay.
he supported the BLM rights. Does that make all the leftists radicals as
Well,
well?
I
They
think you're
supported
getting.
that as well.
I think you're missing
No,
the
I'm
point.
just asking.
I think you're missing the point, and you're doing the
Well,
Biden
you're not
shuffle.
missing the point.
Thor, you're doing the Biden shuffle, and you know what? We've already been there, done that. Bottom line is this: you're getting triggered because obviously what Jim said struck a nerve.
No, dude,
And you know that you're wrong,
she strayed
Thor.
away from her roots. She was supposed to be a nice and kind person, and she strayed away from it, and then became scorning her. And then she said, "You know what? F it. I'm gonna hate all you guys."
So
And
Thor,
this
you
is
don't.
what basic-
Thor, you don't have
basically
anything to
this is
say.
called,
You don't have anything to say about
indoctrination of
Donald.
hate. This is
No.
what the KK did when they felt like screw it.
She's done
I
a
hate all white
number.
people.
Thor, you've done a number. And listen, I don't think you're here to really do anything besides try to make it look like Jim is a bad person. And my show
No,
really
it's
isn't
not
about
Jim. It's
my
people
show
like
really
her.
isn't about that. It's really about saving this great country of
No,
ours.
it's
All right,
people
and
like her that are ruining this country.
Thor, here we go.
Thank you. Lake of Fire.
Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there's Thor right there. He had nothing to offer us other than hatred for his fellow Americans. And unfortunately, Thor, guess what? That's not going to bring our grocery prices down. That's not going to help get credit card interest capped at 10%. And that's not going to end this conflict going on between Ukraine and Russia, Thor. So please, knock it off. Lord have mercy. What is going on out here on TikTok? Good morning, Attacking. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, but I'm rather pissed off at a lot of people on the right-hand side.
I mean, I understand why. I really do. But what do you got for us this morning?
Well, the thing is this. Hold on. Let me put something up. What I find amazing. Oops. Why do I always have to turn my camera on and off? First, it says criminal history. Subject has no criminal history. That's right off the bat. Okay, that's Mr. Garcia. All right. So when you guys say that he's a criminal, not only does it say that he's not in 2019, when Chris Van Hollen, whatever his name is, he also said that the representative or whatever in El Salvador says that he has no criminal history of being with them.
You see that, DJ? I mean, DJ, you might want to apologize. Just put a sorry in the chat. Sorry, Attacking. Sorry, Jim. Sorry, Zeus in the chat, DJ. That's fine.
So the thing is this. The 15-minute conversation with Jim, and she owned his ass. You're arguing against the gosh darn Constitution of the United States. This is not about Mr. Garcia. This is about the Constitution of the United States and the fact that he was not given due process. It doesn't matter if it's Mr. Garcia. It matters the fact that you're arguing against the Constitution. Each and every one of you Trump supporters that have been putting out false information, and I sent Jem a message while she was up here. The 2019 court case, Donald Trump's own DOJ could have fought further to get him out, but they didn't. When the judge says he can stay here in the United States, that means he is here with permission, and he worked.
Yeah.
He supported his wife and his children and became an apprentice in the sheet metal industry. You have the unions defending this young man.
Wow.
You don't have criminal history. And your hypocrisy is amazing, saying that this man, without any proof that he did anything, no tattoo, no criminal history, no nothing, you have a confidential informant, and what do? They give information because they're trying to keep their butt out of jail.
Oh.
So while the judges made a comment about the informant, says they don't have any proof in any of these court cases that he performed any activities within the MS-13. None whatsoever. I have the court cases, Ella. I have the court cases, as you put wrong.
W attacking.
I have the court cases. We have the Supreme Court cases. We have the recent dismissal just the other day. All these things that they're ignoring, which is the Constitution of the United States. You're fighting against the Constitution. Instead of saying, bring him back.
Correct.
And do the due process.
Correct.
And if he qualifies to stay here, let him. If he doesn't, then kick him back out.
Correct.
But that's not what you guys want to do.
No.
You people are lying about what's in the court transcripts. You're lying up a storm. I had my PDF reader read the gosh darn court transcripts and put it on my page. Now you're going to use this so-called protection order that his wife placed against him.
Yeah.
Okay? You're going to use that, but you ignore the fact that Donald Trump abused his wife.
Oh, here we go again, Ella. Ella, you want to come up here? I invited you. You said attacking is wrong. Well, you didn't say attacking, but you're saying he's wrong. Ella, please come up here, but please attacking continue.
And then what happened just recently, the other day, in Florida? A 20-year-old American-born citizen picked up by ICE.
Oh, yeah.
And then the judge was handed his birth certificate, and I guess he waved it and said, yeah, this is the real one. And they still arrested him and put him in holding. Luckily, he was released several hours later.
Yeah.
But the fact was, the judge ignored the birth certificate in court. And this is one of the steps that Donald Trump says, homegrown. He can send homegrown out.
Yeah.
Again, it doesn't matter about Mr. Garcia, and it doesn't matter about the 20-year-old kid. It matters the fact that this is the Constitution that you're arguing against. You are saying what Donald Trump is doing is good, even though the court system has said it's not. You did it wrong. Bring him back. You're wanting him to ignore the courts, the judges, every step of the way, even up to the Supreme Court. You're saying they don't have the right to have him stop doing illegal activity. But yet you say you're for the Constitution. No, you're not. You're for the Constitution only if it benefits Trump and it goes against people you dislike.
W attacking.
Each and every one of you on this app that I read videos about that have lied about the Constitution, that I've shown you've lied about his criminal activity, that he's part of MS-13, show me the pictures of the tattoos. Show me his criminal activity. And now the cop who was giving information regards to some SEX information to somebody was arrested and convicted. And the confidential informant false information, he can just say anything. Zeus, you know what? You're part of MS-13. Did you know that?
They say I'm a part of a lot out here. It's so
Exactly.
hard to keep up with. And then if it's up to them, every one of us would probably be deported, right?
Exactly.
Because,
So instead of having verifiable information, you're going with the informant saying he is without any proof. No activity. And by the way, did you know that the informant said that he had something to do with some type of schmurder in New York? And do you know that he's never been to New York?
Oh, so
yeah,
more...
that's in these documents too.
Wow.
But he's never been in New York.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're going to say that he's a bad man because of this, that, and the other thing, so's the person over Zeus's shoulder. That you guys ignore the judges, threatened the judges, threatened the jury, saying that's all a witch hunt, that he didn't do X, Y, and Z when he really did. So your hypocrisy is written all over. As a matter of fact, tattoo hypocrisy all over your face, like you guys have been tattooing MS-13 over Senator Van Hollen's face because he went to El Salvador. And by the way, do you know that these people can go there and he's not doing anything illegal? Talking about, somebody said the Brady violation or the Hatch Act or whatever it might be. He can go talk to people because Donald Trump sent people to talk to Zelensky, which goes against things.
Thank you, right? W attacking.
Putin. All these people are talking to Putin.
Yeah.
Right? Going against all these policies.
Yeah.
And you guys are the biggest hypocrites there are. You don't have any proof, no documents. I proved right there in that document.
You sure did.
They said he has no criminal activity.
Bingo.
And now you guys are trying to hop on the so-called protection order, where the wife came out and said she, in her previous relationship, was a battered woman.
Mm-hmm.
And she did it out of precaution. And you know what? You guys should take what she says as earnest.
Thank you.
But you're not going to do that. You're going to use it against him. And again, it's not about whether or not he is a bad person. This is all about the Constitution of the United States. No ifs, no ands, no buts. And if you're going to keep arguing against the Constitution, you're not an American.
Amen.
You don't follow the rule of law.
Nope.
And you don't care about the Constitution. You just care about the person, meaning him over Zeus, what he does, and you're okay if he breaks the gosh darn law.
End of discussion.
End of discussion. Thank you.
All right, W attacking in the chat. No lies detected. I mean, what a Friday, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I try to go a little light on Fridays, but I mean, today is a heavy day, and people want to get this out there, and this truth is so important that each and every one of us understands what's really happening. So, you know what? It's a pleasure that I do it. W Zeus in the chat. To the people in the audience right now that are getting triggered by the amount of information and truth coming out, do us a huge favor.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country,
and you do.
If you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
All right. Because that's what it is. All right. If you're a Trump supporter, please put a 1 in the chat, and I will bring you right on up here. All right. You should leave. Okay. Come on up here, Miss Holloway. Could you come up here and tell me why I should leave? It's always interesting sometimes when I talk to people I don't normally get to talk to, all right? Because, you know, they let me explore their thoughts and all of that, and we get to help them understand, you know, where they went wrong. So, Ms. Holloway, you said that I need to leave. Come on up here and explain to me why I should leave. All right, I'm more than willing to hear you out because in case you didn't understand what's happening right now, the mandate that you all believe this guy behind me had, it's kind of not working out the way that he was saying it was supposed to work out. And so now Americans are very, very upset All right, and we think maybe you perhaps can help us all understand. Maybe we've misread what's going on, but if you don't mind, send Big Zeus a guest request. All right, put a 1 in the chat if you're a Trump supporter, and I'll bring you right on up here. All right, it doesn't take all day, ladies and gentlemen, to get up here and just tell the truth. All right, based on what's currently going on. All right, let's see. Put a 1. I see the guest request box, but I got to figure out who's a MAGA or not. All right, put a 1 in the chat if you're a Trump supporter. All right. Let's see, or put something in the chat if you're a Trump supporter. We'll do it that way so I can identify you. Where did Shelly go? Shelly said she loved Donald Trump, but I don't see her. Neither does Miss Holloway. Miss Holloway, where are you at? I thought you were coming up here. All right, Mindy. There you go, Mindy. Come on up here, Mindy. We'll help you get it figured out if you are brave enough to get up here and tell the truth. All right, I sent you an invite, Mindy. Oh my gosh. Millie, you are a Trump supporter? Or Miss G, you're a Trump supporter? Uh-oh, who do we got right there? Mindy, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, you're a Trump supporter?
Most definitely.
All right, what part of the country are you in?
We're in Texas.
All right, shout out to Texas. I know a lot of amazing people from Texas. I think it's very important we try to keep the states united, all right?
Yes.
Are you following any of these things that are happening right now? And I guess out of the things you're following, what's the most important thing that you actually think Donald Trump is doing a good job doing?
Getting rid of the, listen, I'm a mother of 6 daughters.
Got it.
Okay. If I have to really say much more than that, there's our problem.
Give me an example. Well, I don't know what you mean, but...
Well, Rachel Morin, her mother was all over Legacy News yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Rachel Morin was raped and murdered.
You mean graped. You got to say graped. Because you got to use TikTok friendly language, otherwise it can...
Oh, graped.
Yeah.
Graped.
There you go. Thank you. All right.
Gotcha. I had no idea. I've never done this. But I will tell you, as a mother of 6 daughters... I'm just now able to speak after seeing Rachel Morin's mother
Okay.
Get up and have to do something she really she shouldn't have had to do.
What's that?
I mean, this world, I used to say, wow, you know what? We're getting thrown off. We are definitely getting thrown off. Then I used to say, uh-oh, it feels like things are going left. And thank God Trump won, because these Democrats, there's some good ones out there.
Well, I'm a Democrat. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
it's
okay.
very important. It's very important to let you Democrats know, when you open your mouth at the address to Congress, at the, foot of a mother whose daughter was violently raped and murdered.
You got to say great. You got to say great.
I said great.
Okay.
Great.
I thought I heard the R hard
No,
R.
I said great, but I'm a little upset because what I'm feeling is that the Democrats, I'm gonna say there's the old Democrats, there's the middle Democrats, and there's the very, very, very low life, which is the deep state low life Democrats. There's some good ones out there. I believe you probably are one. I think you are trying to really figure out from Trump supporters. I'm gonna tell you, I don't like the guy. I don't like the man.
You don't like Donald Trump?
Right. You don't have to like the man that saves the country. You really don't. This country was saved. It was saved.
You think
if
so?
we'd have had 4 more years of Grandpa Biden sleeping, honey, sleeping. Oh no, there were too many. Listen, if you don't go to ground news,
can we at least now start unpacking a lot this is a lot.
Okay, listen, just a minute.
Are you going to let me at least?
Guest. If you invited me in, treat me with respect and like a guest.
Will you at least allow me to respond to the things I'm hearing you say then? Because
not yet,
I think the conversation.
I'm almost finished.
All right, because I got to be
the last thing. Okay, I want to hear everything you have to say, but you need to let me speak first. I'm your guest.
Okay.
Okay. So every media outlet lies. Even Channel 4. Okay, all you people here are saying that she's lying. Listen, everybody does what they do to get people to follow them. This is a divided country. But when it comes to murdering someone's daughter,
schmurder,
or
unaliving,
murdering somebody's daughter, can y'all at least stand up and go, oh my God, this is heartbreaking. This is not a political reference. This is too much, you guys. Too much.
Yeah. All right, you got it out.
Okay, I'm done. Let's hear what you have to say.
So you have 6 daughters.
Yes.
All right, and God bless your soul. Let me ask you what you would think of a man that said something like this. Hold on.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Did you hear what he said?
No, I did not hear that.
He said, if Ivanka wasn't my daughter, perhaps I would be dating her. Hold on.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
And I'm supposed to believe when there's 45 million people who sound just like Trump, that's him.
So you don't think that's Trump?
No. Do you have a video of it where
It's on YouTube. But what about this?
What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
You heard that?
I'm sorry. That's just false as false can be.
What if it's true? Because I have no reason, Mindy, because I'm not that good at it, right? I can't go and grab AI and make them make Trump say things. But do you remember when Trump said, when you're a star, women let you do it. They let you grab them by the...
Yeah, and he was
okay.
30 years ago. He wasn't married. How many times have you said that? With your
no. He was married.
A man is a man is always a man.
So let's just go down that path. Are you suggesting that an unmarried man can go around and grab women like that?
Listen, I'm going to tell you something.
Because he was married, but I'm going to use. He was married, but you
worst amongst unmarried men. He was unmarried when they pulled that clip, and I'm still not convinced that's a real clip. I never saw the video with it.
But what if it is? If you don't at least consider the possibility, Mindy, that it's real, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Okay.
But let's just assume it for the sake of it being real. Would you let any man that said stuff like that around your children?
30 years later, possibly, when they've grown up and they're married and they have family and they are not little stupid horny punks. Yeah, he could have been one of those 30 years ago.
Okay, can I read this story to you? A Houston man pardoned by Donald Trump, arrested on child S charges. And I got to say it like that. What do you think about Donald Trump pardoning a man that has done such things? This guy obviously participated in January 6th.
You've got a propaganda channel going on here. You have no facts. You have no facts, my dear, until you show the facts.
Okay, his name is...
Until you show the facts.
Let me read it. A Houston man who was recently pardoned by President Donald Trump for his role in January 6th insurrection has been arrested on an outstanding child S crimes charge. Andrew Taki, 36, was taken into custody after spending more than 2 weeks as a fugitive. The Harris County District Attorney Office said he had previously been charged with online solicitation of, and I can go deeper into it, but obviously I'm not making any of this up. I'm reading it. You can go look it up.
You know what? I can start here. Do you want to do that? You want to start from ground news and start from the ground?
Well, all I'm suggesting to you, ma'am, and then I was going to bring up the E. Jean Carroll case. You remember that?
No, I know.
That's the woman that he was found liable, right? Because he SA'd her and defamed her to the tune of around $80 million. And this was in the New York courtroom. So and then we had...
Oh, my God.
You think that's...
Go to ground news. You need to go to ground news, okay?
Do you think that's funny? Do you think that's funny?
You are a propaganda TikTok channel. You have no facts. You understand me? You have no facts.
But all I'm doing, Mindy, is reading facts, right?
No,
And I've
no, you
listened
have no facts.
and I've listened to your angle. I wouldn't laugh at essaying like that, but my point to you
No.
is this. I took you at your word that you said you had 6 daughters. I don't think you would get up here and lie that you have 6 daughters. And I
Oh
think
my
and I
God. Oh
think
my
the
God. The
angle and
hypocrisy,
I
the
think the angle,
hypocrisy.
listen, Mindy, and I think the angle you were saying is you are very protective of your daughters,
Yes,
right?
I am. And let me
And
tell you
so,
something.
and we haven't even moved on to the other stuff you brought, but I'm giving you example after example of how the person you're supporting,
Oh
re-
God.
that that
I'm
demon
sorry,
inside
but
of you
you
is getting
don't
worked
have
up.
facts laid
That
out.
do
You've
you?
got to have facts laid
Why do
out.
you
You've
think
got to have your
Mindy,
sources
Mindy,
laid out.
Mindy? Why do you think the demon is inside of you having a response the way it is? It's got you laughing
Oh,
at stuff
it's
that you know.
absolutely the demons are the ones
The one
that are
inside of
protecting this
you.
illegal alien that killed Rachel Morin.
Okay,
What is
I,
wrong with y'all?
Mindy,
What is
Mindy,
wrong with y'all?
Mindy.
You
You know,
cannot even
Mindy,
show any compassion whatsoever.
Mindy. How
You're
about
going to
this,
show compassion over a 30-year clip
Mindy?
versus what
Mindy,
just went on this year.
Mindy, I'm only able to go so far as a gentleman because I like to be a gentleman at all levels. All right. So
Uh-huh.
if I'm not able to get my point across, then what I like to do is bring up other people because
Yeah.
I have to be respectful. My mom watches the show and all of that. So
Mhm.
either we're
I
gonna
know.
have this conversation like grown ups, or I'm gonna actually have to reach out for a lifeline. But it's up to you because I just want to make sure you're on the same page as me in terms of understanding that so far I'm showing you example after example that the person you supported is actually harming women. And right? And I've played clips, and you said these clips are fake. You think that it's AI. I want you to know there's no technology out there that could actually duplicate what Donald Trump is saying at that level. I'm giving you court information that shows these things have actually gone through the courtroom, and they've looked at the evidence, and they've determined, and a jury of his peers determined this man did these things. And then if we start talking about what he's doing in terms of policy, right, taking away women's right to their bodies, their autonomy, we have another example of how Donald Trump is he's actually harming women. And then think about this. After I've heard you say, after I've given you all this information about Donald Trump, think about this statement he made.
I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them.
You heard what he said? Let me give it to you again, Mindy.
I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them.
They're talking about women's sports. Is
He's
that what
talking about. Did you hear the tone that he took?
Give me the context.
So it doesn't bother you?
No, that
Okay.
context does not bother me at all. But
Okay.
here's the thing you don't understand. I'm an independent. I have never been a Republican. I have never been a Democrat. I won't go either way. I would never claim to be either party. Either party doesn't work for me.
Okay, I'm going to bring up some folks that I think might be able to help me understand where you're coming from a little bit better. Hi, Ange. Hi, Shay. How are you doing?
Hey, good morning. Good morning,
Good
everyone.
morning.
Good morning.
I'm really trying my best with Mindy, but I can't go there with her this morning. Maybe y'all could help.
My first question, you have 6 daughters. That is great. 8 out of 10 women are either SA'd or sexually harassed in some form. So since you have 6 daughters, do you think that's happened to any of them? The odds are pretty high.
Well, 3 of them are married, and 3 of them are my granddaughters.
Okay, well, you can be married and it can still happen.
Well, this I know.
Okay, do you think, with this type of rhetoric that I'm hearing right now, do you think that they would come to you and tell you if this happened to them?
Well, we've had the conversation, and I've opened that up. And I certainly hope they come to me.
Well, with the way you're speaking right now, I have a feeling they would not.
Well, you know what? You can come here. You're invited into my home.
Oh, why, thank
you. You can come here, and you can see how I am. But my blood is boiling because of you and the one they just brought in, and this man's complete, utter refusal to just show compassion. That's the only thing I'm asking, and you can't even do it.
Well, ma'am, I
You
do
want
show
us to show-
compassion for
Nope,
Rachel
you
Warren.
didn't. You could have come in and said what the first problem was, and that was to show compassion. As a mother of 6 daughters, I am saying, what
Ma'am?
is wrong with the
Oh, Lord have
Democrat
mercy.
Party when they cannot show compassion?
Well, I actually do.
what?
I feel
We do
horrible
show
for
compassion.
Rachel Warren. I feel terrible for anybody that's happened to. Okay, but quite honestly, I mean, the biggest thing I have to tell you is the way you're talking right now. They're not going to come to you freely, and that really breaks my heart.
Listen,
it really
this
does.
is a different context. Do you think that I'm going to talk even about this here with adults
you brought
in
it
front
up.
of my grandchildren
Mindy.
and my daughters? No. This conversation is private for Mindy.
Mindy,
Nobody
your
else.
Because you're a
behavior-
liar.
Mindy,
No,
your
no,
behavior,
you're a
first of
liar.
all,
You're
hold
a
on,
liar.
hold on, Mindy.
I'm not.
Mindy, hold on a second. Hold on a second, Mindy. Hold on. First of all, Zeus, thank you for letting us all up here to have this conversation with Mindy. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Mindy, and hello to the rest of my sisters on the panel. Mindy, your behavior. One thing I pride myself on, and the rest of my sisters on in this box, is we have compassion.
You're
toward
all on the
other
same
women.
team, honey.
Mindy,
that makes a big difference. You've all got people on the same team coming up against me.
Mindy,
Mindy,
you know
I
what-
used
you
to
know
be a
what?
conservative, honey, and I live in Texas.
Right,
So
and the
you
thing
don't
about
know
it
all
is-
of us. You
That's right,
don't
and the
know
thing
all of our
about it
backgrounds.
is-
Stop assuming. Go ahead.
The thing about it is that I don't care whether you're a Republican, whether you're an independent, whether you're a Democrat. If you're a woman, I care about what happens to you. See, that's the difference between us and you, is that it doesn't matter. If a Republican woman has been SA'd, I care about what happens to her.
That's
If a
not the-
Democratic
that's not the
woman,
premise
an
that we're
independent
on
woman
right now.
has been SA'd or violated, I care what happens to them. And for you to sit up here and to laugh and make fun and
Oh,
to
it's
think
all
it's
a lie.
joke,
It's all
and
a
to be
lie. Y'all have been lied
disrespectful
to for
what has
so
happened to
long
that
on
woman,
legacy
that
media.
alone
Nobody
lets me
here
know who
has
you
got the
are as a
legacy
person.
what
media
legacy
And I
channel
don't
media
on.
What is
care.
legacy media? Hold on. What
Exactly.
What
I
is
don't
legacy
care.
media?
Oh,
I don't
please.
care. A
That's
woman
where
was
y'all got
injured.
all of that.
Oh,
A
so
woman
it's
was
no
violated
longer.
by the president, who is the now sitting president of the United States. And the people that voted for him, after knowing that, you need to check your heart, you need to check your mind, and better yet, you need to see what kind of person you are that would allow a man like that
You need
back in
you're
the White
starting to
House.
sound
You're
like me. You
disgusting,
better calm
Mindy.
down. You're getting a bad
No, no, no,
rap.
no, no,
You're
no, no,
starting
no.
to sound
See, I
like
love
me
how you
now.
like to tell me. You can't
See,
tell me who I am, Mindy.
No,
You
you're
can't
starting
tell
to
me who
sound
I
like
am.
me now.
I
You're
can,
starting to
however,
sound.
by
You're starting
your
to
fruit
sound
that
like
you
somebody
bear,
touched
tell
a
who you
very,
are.
very sensitive bone.
Mindy, and let's go ahead. So and again, Mindy, the reason that I open it up like this is because now we're getting into obviously women issues. And you see that I have to kind of dial it back on my end, but I'm also, supportive. And I think that this idea that it's a team, I think even you, Mindy, we all agree that we should protect women.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's the way. Let's keep it at that level. The angle here is making sure we're all on the same page in terms of showing that we are trying to protect women to the best of our ability. But there are concerns about the things you're saying, and I believe that's why the feedback you're getting.
there's concerns about the things I'm believing. Don't say you've got concerns about things I'm saying. You've got concerns about things I'm believing. There's a difference.
No. Yep, we agree with you. No, we agree with you. We are concerned about what you believe. But I do have a question for you. Do you have the same energy for Audrey Cunningham and Athena Strand?
You know what?
And Molly Tibbetts.
I have all. Listen.
No. Stay with the question, Mindy. I know it's hard, but I want you to really listen to the question I asked you. Do you bring this same energy for Audrey Cunningham and Athena Strand?
The same energy, as in I am.
Do you know who those names are?
I've heard of them. Yes.
Who are they? Who are they?
You know what?
Who are they?
Are you talking to me about Are you going into a whole nother subject here? Be
No,
honest.
This is exactly the subject you came up here to talk about, my love. Let's be very clear. Audrey Cunningham and Athena Strand never made it to their teen years. They were two little girls who were unalived in your state of Texas by two white males. And I don't hear you coming up here talking about those little girls. I don't hear you coming up here talking about those lives that were harmed, who were literally allowed into their existence, invited in. You know, the one that unalived Audrey Cunningham was her mom's friend. You know, the guy who had a swastika tattooed on his body, who was a known criminal that the mother allowed to take care of her 8-year-old little girl. He unalived her, he assaulted her, and he threw her body in a body of water. Let's talk about Athena Strand, shall we?
Yes.
A FedEx worker saw her alone. You can do the rest of the research.
Biden was in the office.
So
and they
let's
didn't
be
do a
very
damn
clear.
thing.
No, sweetie.
No,
No, let's
Biden
be
didn't do a
very
damn
clear.
thing.
Let's be very clear, Mindy. More women in the United States of America are essayed and unalived by white males than any other group. White males commit more crimes against women in their own homes, Mindy.
Listen.
And from your reaction and you using that you have 6 daughters, I can assure you, Mindy, I can assure you, Mindy, I can assure you by the way you're talking,
that's all I'm saying.
Mindy, I can assure you by the way you're talking, you have also been victimized at some point in your life by some male in your life.
Well,
I can hear it in your soul. And let me be very clear, I'm pretty sure it wasn't an illegal migrant.
You know what? I love
you
how
better
you know
call
me.
Peepaw.
I love how you know me. I love it. Keep going. Keep going.
Deny it, boo-boo.
Keep going, boo-boo. Go. Keep going.
You didn't deny it, boo-boo.
Oh, is that why you're here too?
You didn't deny it.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to tell you something right now.
Right. That's all you need to say. And then you go,
shh. No, you are such a Christian.
That's why I'm not a Christian, boo.
That's right.
I'm not. You got the wrong one today. Bye, Mindy.
Say something.
I think Mindy has left the building. I think
I think so.
We can't have conversation.
I think Mindy has left the building. Wow.
That's unfortunate. I was about to give her my next statistic, which
Mindy,
is...
you want to come back, Mindy? I didn't know if you left or not, but Mindy, I mean, that just... Wow. I don't see Mindy in the request. Yeah, I think she's done.
Okay, well, I'm going to drop. Thanks for having me up. I guess she wasn't ready to listen. I didn't think she would be.
Well, do you have any last words you want to say before you drop?
I just had one last thing to tell her. My other statistic is that every 9 seconds, a woman here is abused by her romantic partner, and it's typically white men. So there's that. But so unfortunately, that's not happening to her daughter. Or maybe it is happening to her daughter, but I don't feel the way she acts that they're ever going to feel open enough to speak to her about that. And that saddens me as a mother who's going through that right now with her own daughter. You know, it's really hitting hard for her to sit up here and talk about her daughters and act like she cares. Because I'm sorry, just because you say you do doesn't mean that you really do. Because I don't think you will not even be open to listen to us. And I was going to be nice. I was being nice, using my nice voice and everything.
Have been. Really.
I was just being super nice. And
thank you.
So she's lucky, but I don't know. Hopefully she's still listening. And that's all I have to say. And hopefully she will still listen to these three lovely ladies.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ange. Shay, how about you? I mean, wow.
I mean, what I was going to say to her, because I'm sorry, I love you ladies, but I think that, us going right at her, listen, we know where she's coming from and it pisses all of us off. I get it 100%. What we get real tired of, what we're all saying, because I know it comes across like we're attacking the woman, we're not. What we're real sick of is being attacked against us. because we're not out here demonizing illegal immigrants, right? Or undocumented migrants is what they should be called. And that's the thing is we understand that you are being given, first it was Laken Riley, now it's Rachel Morin, and you guys can't pick up on this at all. That what they're doing is demonizing a set of people in order to justify sending them off to CCOT in El Salvador. But you're going to sit up here on the verge of crying in tears over something that did not affect your personal life, nor your 3 daughters, nor your 3 grandchildren. And the thing is then you come up here because we're not crying about Rachel Moore and that we don't give a damn about her. When we are the group of women that fight on this app every single day for women's rights, every single day, we educate you about what is going on. And what Jim said was important. What Anja said, what Wakanda said is all correct. You guys are focusing on 25. Yes, 25. That is a lot of women that have been unalive by possibly, we don't know, not all of them have been adjudicated, but the numbers are outrageous. 8,700 cases of white males doing this to women in this country that are civilians, right? That are citizens. 8,700 versus 25. But what you're going to sit here and do is you're going to use Laken Riley and you're going to use Rachel Morin and you're going to cry and cry. But meanwhile, you voted for an essayer. You voted for a man that has been found civilly liable for essaying a woman in a department store. Miss me with your BS and getting up here and coming after women like us that fight for our rights every single day. And wanted a woman in the office to show the world that the United States of America has progressed. Like the rest of the countries have progressed by putting a woman in office. Miss me, because I guarantee you that woman right there probably said, I'm not going to vote for a woman. That's not a man. That's a man's job. But you're going to sit up here and you're going to demonize us because we're not crying about Rachel Morin. It's a BS tactic, and you don't get what's going on. You don't get it. You don't see what they're doing to people, human beings and American civilians because their last name is Gomez or Garcia or Gutierrez, and they're going to be shipped off to CCOT. I don't know about you, but I remember a time, and I'll end with this, my beautiful friend Zeus, is there's been deportation since the beginning of time. Under all the presidents, they deport. When have they ever deported people to CCOT? To a prison. An inhumane prison where dogs are treated better at the ASPCA. You've got to be kidding me with this. You all need to wake up and stop. Stop with legacy media. This is the new MSM, I guess. Never heard of this tactic. Enough is enough. Yeah. Stop demonizing us because we're not crying about one particular woman, because we cry for every single woman in this country. I will end with that.
Thank you, Shay. Thank you. Wow. Powerful words this morning. Powerful words. Jim, how are you?
Good. And I
We're back
wasn't
again.
being mean. I was giving her statistics because I will no longer allow white women to come into panels and talk about these women and forget that there are little girls across this country being harmed by males. This is going to stop one way or another, and it's only going to stop when women stop allowing other women to be victimized. Carolyn Bryant was the name that popped into my head while I listened to Mindy speak. You are going to use the minority group of something so that you can cause harm to that group, and then deny that the perpetrators of the most heinous crimes in the United States of America are white males. Now, this, you don't have to agree with me in a TikTok live, but what you do have to do is do the research for yourself. Serial unalivers, white males. Mass shooters in this country, white males. We just had one yesterday, 20-year-old white male. You just had one in Dallas, Texas, white male. Every single one of them have almost all been white males in this country. There is no more persecuting minority groups when you can't look in the mirror and address the facts. And the facts are that white males are the number one threat to the United States of America and the rest of the world. So when you can admit to yourself that you are supporting the very people that are causing the most harm, then you can come talk to me on a panel and I'll be glad to talk to you with this voice. But when you can't do that, you're going to get the voice that I come with that is strong and that is supporting women's rights so that we can ensure that our children, our daughters, have better tomorrows. And let me just leave you with this little tidbit for all of you in here who deny it. Just go to the Journal of American Medicine Association and read the article. Since these archaic laws have been turned around against women, for the last 2 years, over 500,000 SA cases have occurred. Out of those SA cases, 75,000 have resulted in unwanted pregnancies. And out of that 75,000, 26,000 of them alone are in the state of Texas, Mindy. So if you're still in here, 26,000 of those young women are in the state of Texas. So yes, everything's bigger in Texas, including the crimes against women. Mic drop.
Wow. Thank you, Jim. Wow, dropping off those. Yeah, we got to get the truth out here. Wakanda.
Yes, sir. Here's something I wanted to drop. Since we were talking about people being, and you want to talk about something that's illegal. How they're taking people and shipping them to another country. That you want to talk about illegal? That's illegal. When you take it upon yourself, and the government on top of that, Donald Trump, thinking it's okay to pay another country to take people out of this one, who have done things the proper way. That man went through court. And they said it was okay for him to be here and for them to just gather him up and ship him somewhere. And thank God that we finally have proof of life today from the senator going to see him. Because I'm going to tell you, for a few days now, I've been concerned that man was no longer with us. Okay? And let's talk about this CCOP place, because I've learned some interesting information. Last year, 2024, 3,000, I repeat, 3,000 children are also locked up in CCOT, Zeus.
Wow.
3,000 underage children are in that place. And if you want to look up the article, it is in Al Jazeera papers. 3,000 children. As of last year, 214 people have been unalived in CCOT.
Wow.
4 of which were children.
Wow.
We are in a place where we're sending our people to a place where they lock up children, and they have been SA'd, they have been abused. I don't even want to know what those children have went through. That place is a place where they send people who are never returned. They go in and they only come out one way, and that is unalived.
Wow.
This is where
outrage, MAGA, for the children.
This is where the president has deemed it okay to send people.
Yep.
And for every MAGA in this who are under the sound of my voice, I want you to think about the fact that place is holding 3,000 children. Where's the outrage? You're always screaming about children's rights. Oh my God, they're abusing the children. Oh my God, what's happening to the kids? But your president, the man you voted for, the man you walked into the booth and said, yeah, that's the man I want to put back in the White House. He did such a great job the first time, where he's messing things up at an alarming rate to even I am nervous. I am afraid for what is going to happen to this country and to the people in it. Even MAGA, even though you voted for this mess, I'm even nervous for your sorry behinds. Okay? This is what's going on. And this is the reality that we have to live with. And until you guys wake up and you begin to smell and see what's going on, what you voted for, we're going to continue to go down this freaking slope. And I don't want to know where we land. Because by the time we get a chance to fix this, I don't even think we will have a country. Let alone rights and civil liberties and the ability to just breathe and thrive. I don't even know if that's even possible after he leaves office, after the damage that you guys have allowed to happen, because it ain't us. We voted the right way. We did what was right. We voted for Kamala Harris, who had solutions to a lot of the problems we're facing right now. And she stood flat-footed and told us that this is what was going to happen. And here we are. So, MAGA, what are you going to do about it? You can no longer sit here with blinders on and act like what is happening isn't happening and put your fingers in your ears and go, la, 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 la. You can't do that anymore because it's in your face.
That part. That part.
And the president just talked to the guy of El Salvador, and he's basically said, build more. Because he's going to send citizens. They're already, Donald Trump already is trying to sign an executive order for birthright citizenship. I heard that yesterday, right? Yep. So if he removes birthright citizenship, excuse me, MAGA, don't you fall under that too? If they take that out of the Constitution, who else gets on the boats? Who else is going to be put on planes? You think you're going to be exempt? You're not going to be exempt. Yeah, if they pull that out, that goes for any and everybody. And it ain't just the black and brown like you think. It's going to be white people too.
Amen.
So
there you go.
Latinos voted for this man.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go. All right. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, let's give the panelists that just showed up and showed out a huge round of applause. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Seriously, but we got to move it on. All right.
Thank you, Zeus. Appreciate it.
Thank you for always being willing to.
Thank you for allowing us up here, Zeus. I appreciate you.
No problem. I appreciate you as well, ladies and gentlemen. Again, let's give them another huge round of applause. Let's see. Oh, I see. Dr. Keisha Davis. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We'll try to do a couple of more, then I got to get up out of here. Hey, how you doing, Doctor?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What a show. What a show.
It's been great. I'm listening in. I am enjoying the conversation. Shaking my head, of course, as always. What just ended yesterday?
What ended yesterday?
Black Maternal Health. Maternal Health Week. It has been the entire week. While actually, since we have to include everybody, 27% increase in maternal mortality this past year. Shout out to America. Shout out to the first world or presumed first world country to have the highest maternal mortality rate.
Wow. That's unfortunate in so many levels.
Yeah, it is. It's I mean, I don't know what to say. I've been trying to get out there, Zeus. We just did a podcast yesterday, the day before yesterday, on Black maternal health with 3 Black OB-GYNs, 56 combined years of experience of these doctors telling what we can do to protect the women and, to be honest, moving forward, at least be able to speak up, right? Because we know that things are getting more difficult. CDC just got slashed another 75%. Okay, this happened in the last 2 weeks, and it's not in the news. Doctors are coming out and sharing as they lose their positions.
Wow.
But almost every single center in the CDC, almost every single center has lost their center director. That's from, and interesting because, your HHS director, RFK Jr., has slashed chronic disease centers too, like tobacco, birth defects. We know tobacco is the #1 cause of chronic disease death in this here United States. That's been slashed. Environmental health, lead poisoning, looking at cruise ships, which I'm not going on those anyway, with the norovirus out. NIOSH, which is, this is funny, National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health. So when you're working on a job, like finding out now asbestos is directly related, which is directly related to cancer, which is mesothelioma, and on the job. That type of stuff, gone.
Wow.
Gone.
Wow. And this is Donald Trump. And these programs that are gone, do they also harm women and children when Trump does this?
That's funny that she said all that, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like the 27% increase in maternal mortality that I was speaking about. All of this comes from data collection. And what also comes from that is the public has the ability and the right to be able to access this information. The center that allows the reporting and public access to these records is gone. They're doing this at this point. You know what? It's strategic, right? Because she comes up here and says, this hasn't happened. Where's the data? Where's the facts? I have the data. I have the data that Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to unalive during childbirth. I have the data that postpartum period is very, very protected. And a lot of things can happen during that postpartum period that we need to protect.
Right.
But how about we hide the data? How about we get rid of the places that deal with HIV surveillance? So we don't know our HIV rates are high. How about we get rid of knowing when there's an outbreak from measles? Because therefore, we don't need to say that we have a measles problem. We don't need to say that Black mothers or mothers in general are unaliving here. We don't need to say that the states that are red states like this here, horrible Texas I'm in, we don't have to say that, a lot more people are unaliving because of the strict rules now with AB.
Yeah.
We don't have to say that. It doesn't exist because there's no data on it.
Wow. And do you hear this thing about the tuberculosis funding being cut at Harvard? Oh my goodness, Dr. Keisha Davis. Wow, turn on the camera, looking good. So you hear about them cutting the funding for tuberculosis and stuff like that, right? Does that also harm children and based on what you understand?
I mean, of course, TB does not discriminate. No infectious disease discriminates. So while these people are worried about the economy, what is going to take us out faster is a pandemic. And a pandemic when you don't know what's happening.
Oh.
What better way to eliminate people than having measles like we have it, or over 575, having TB, which we know in Kansas, yes, there was that increased rate of it, but not being able to test for it, not having the researchers to be able to improve it, because you can't have drug-resistant TB. You can't have drug-resistant gonorrhea. By the way, STIs are on the rise. Syphilis is reigning in places like this here, Texas.
Wow.
But how would we know when we can't report it?
Wow. What a disgrace that this administration is doing. I don't get it. How do they really not see that he's also harming kids at the same time while they're out here believing?
Well, the biggest way that they're getting harmed, the top cause of unalivement in our adolescents, right?
No, I don't. What is it?
It's pew-pews.
Oh.
Violence. Yeah, that's the number one cause right now. It was during a time COVID was in the top 5, right?
Yeah.
19, but now it is pew-pews is the number one cause of our children. No longer accidents, though some of the pew-pews can be accidents, but it's pew-pews.
Wow. I mean, this to me, as far as I'm concerned, means these people really should be outraged about pew-pews, right? W. Felicia in the chat.
Yesterday was someone that appeared to be a right-winger that caused that, but we're not concerned. You've got to take accountability. I don't care what side of the road you're on with our children. It's now considered a public health crisis.
Wow, really?
Yeah. What's another word? I don't like the word pew-pew, but the GUN violence is literally one of the top things. The GUN violence is literally one of the top things. And we've got to do something about it. Gun rights, gun laws that at least protect us are important. But decreasing the age to 18 is crazy.
Yeah. Wow. So at the end of the day, what we're finding out based on what you're saying,
the prevention center is gone too.
Wow. So it doesn't seem like he cares about women and children like I'm hearing, because to me that seems to be the crux of today's show, right? It's the Democrats that don't care about women and children, but it just doesn't seem like basically from a medical perspective that's not quite true, because actually we had funding and care for those areas.
We did. Somebody said, what about Trump caring about the food? Now let's talk about the food, because what just happened yesterday. FDA had to close the Center for Quality Control on testing at foods.
Really?
So y'all so concerned about food, FDA had to close it because you guys let those people go. So we have nobody to test the foods. But I will tell you this, something, there could be stepping on a nail could cause me to unalive. Getting hit by a car could cause me unalive. On a motorcycle,
Yeah.
Like, when you look at data or public health, you're looking at what are the trends, what are the most common causes.
Right.
Going and running after one thing like fluoride that is not causing it, or looking at immunizations causing autism that we've already debunked multiple times, is not going to help the community as a whole, which is why they're getting rid of data. The number top causes of chronic disease is tobacco, but you guys just got rid of the ability to control that and make sure that kids don't have access to nicotine, including hookah, by the way, y'all, including hookah.
And you know they love doing that little hookah thing, huh? Wow.
Yeah, it increases your same rate for lung cancer, which is one of the top 5 causes of cancer and cancer-related unalivements in the United States.
Lord have mercy. And then someone wrote vaping too.
I'm diagnosing it all the time.
Wow. And someone said vaping too. So it seems to me like
vaping actually causes something else. It causes an acute pulmonary edema. Pulmonologists hate to see these stories because they see these people come into acute respiratory distress with it.
wow. See, y'all better leave that stuff alone out there. Oh my goodness. Well, listen, Doc, Big Zeus.
Wait, when someone something about the food, one more thing, Zeus.
Okay.
I can tell you work out. Like, I'm gonna give you a little compliment.
Oh my God. Uh-oh. You know Nutty don't like it when you say that. She knows.
Listen, with the food, a lot of this, you guys, there are things in the food, but why are you guys getting so much processed food? If you have a patch of green grass, why are you not either growing your own food, going to a co-op, going to a farmer's market? Why are you choosing to stop at McDonald's? Why are you choosing to stop at KFC? I don't stop at those places. I don't eat meat. So a lot of this has to do with choices. You cannot a doctor is not a magician. They cannot change what you're eating. They cannot change if you choose to sit home and be on this all day instead of exercising. It starts with you.
So you saying being on TikTok and arguing with people, that doesn't count as exercise?
No, it starts with y'all. I mean, unless you're in one of those exercise, which I'll do one in the morning. Unless you're in an exercise live, no, it doesn't, y'all.
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Well, listen, a lot of y'all better wake up and realize Dr. Keisha Davis is laying it down for you. All right, you better pick it up because there's so much truth she's giving you all. And this is normally she would have to charge you to tell you this kind of stuff. So y'all getting it for free. Y'all better show some love.
Y'all gonna have to follow the podcast and support it. We have a Ko-fi page too where you can support it because I do put a lot into the Medical Collective podcast. And please, can y'all listen to the Black Maternal Health? Can we give one day to listen to and support Black women and maternal health, please?
Tell them, Doc. Tell them, Doc. And they know they need to do it. There you go. Well, all right. Big Zeus has to get up out of here. But, it was an honor to have you on the show and squeeze you in, all right? Because normally I don't get to get you in here, all right? But thank you so much for all you do. Ladies and gentlemen, W's in the chat for Dr. Keisha Davis. No Lies Detected, the Medical Collective. Make sure you are following her and keeping up to date on the latest, all right?
One more thing, Zeus, the Empowered Health Network on FB or Facebook. If you guys want to be part of something, I'm about action. If you want to know what's happening as we're moving through this, doctors, scientists are in that group. You can put your questions and you'll be the first to know when something's happening. Empowered Health Network on Facebook. All righty then. All right. Well, listen, thank you again, as always. All right. Dr. Keisha Davis. I appreciate you. All right. Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we now have to wrap things up and get on out of here. Before I go, let's give you all in the audience a huge round of applause. No Lies Detected. I want to thank all of the subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists for helping to support this show and to keep this show exciting, engaging, and educational. It's also entertaining. But I also got to give one last round of booze and shame, and you know who this goes out to. It goes out to each and every single one of the Zeus haters out there. And these are not just my haters. These are also your haters. They get on this app every single day, and they try to defend the indefensible, all right, only to find out the hard way that it's not an easy thing to do to come up in here and try to climb Mount Olympus using a ladder of lies. It's just not going to work. All right, you know what we got to do? May y'all enjoy the weekend in hell. Silence, you MAGA baby. All right,
ladies and gentlemen. Take care and stay safe out there in those TikTok streets. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. We're out of here. We are out of here. That was another one for the history books, right? Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you. Have a great. Get on out there and let your voices be heard. Y'all can say Trump won all you want, but you know, it doesn't mean anything if he's not delivering on any of his promises. Wow, thank you, Heaven. Sharon, thank you. Thank you, Q-Dog. Y'all have a great one, all right? Seriously. All right, you love Donald Trump. That's your prerogative. Keep on loving him. All right, it's not going to change the fact that he's not delivering on the things he promised. Let's go, let's go. Hey, hey. All right, they want to do some drill, baby, drill, and then we are out of here. After this, we are out of here. Lord have mercy, y'all make me work overtime. Seriously.
We're going to lower your taxes.
Here we go.
Insane asylums. You know, they go crazy when I say the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Drill, baby, drill. We're going to frack. Drill, there's a frack. There's a WrestleMania energy. Because you know she's gonna pay, you know she's gonna pay. Right? I put that she was against tracking against all the stuff. Have a great weekend. All the stuff, and then seriously. All the stuff, and then all the stuff everybody to have to know when she was getting killed in the past. She said, I like fracking very much. Look, they always go back to what they want. They always go back. She can't help it. She's a radical. Thank you, RC. I see ya, and we will and drill, baby, drill. Let's go. So deep, we're gonna be guys. We're gonna take that. Thank you. We're gonna lower your taxes. Hey, Dano, I see you. The late great Hannibal, hit it. Drill, baby, drill. We're gonna frack. Y'all gotta be able to frack better than that. Come on. Like it's Hannibal Lecter. Here it goes, ladies and gentlemen. Insane asylums. You know, they go crazy when I say.
When you say what?
The late great Hannibal Lecter.
That part.
They say.
Why would you mention Hannibal Lecter? Why?
We're going to lower your taxes. Deep insane asylums. You know, they go crazy when I say the late, great Hannibal. Keep
up the great work. Let's go.
Lower your taxes.
Deep insane boss lady. Thank you. AWS. Hey, hello, can you go? Hey, hello, can you go? Hey, let's go. We're gonna lower your taxes. Deep insane asylums. You know, they go crazy when I say, how much do you owe? How much debt you got? Don't worry, we'll take care of that. We're gonna pay off all your debt. Oh, you got some taxes you owe too? Don't worry, we'll lower those taxes, because guess what, baby? Guess what we're going to be doing? We're going to drill, baby, drill like you wouldn't believe, because guess what? We got so much liquid gold underneath our feet, and all we got to do is frack. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Take care and stay safe out there in those TikTok streets. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. We are